Are you doing the right things on LinkedIn? I mean, you're posting, but why? There is a lot of strategy for LinkedIn, and Elisa B. Bennett has made a career out of helping people generate leads that they love from the platform. LinkedIn can be a great tool. Pliers can be a hammer, but a hammer can't be a pair of pliers. So if you want to learn how to use the tool right, you should stay tuned. So first off, thanks for coming on. You've emphasized the importance of a strong hook. That's what I always try and do. So we agree on this. You always talk about a strong hook for LinkedIn video. What's something that, I mean, maybe an example that someone could use to like start out their video just with a pow?
Well, I wouldn't consider myself the complete expert in video, which is why I've been hanging out on TikTok to see what's happening that's viral in content. And the reason why is because all of my leads and my clients' leads come from the DMs. So being over on TikTok and obsessing over there, they get straight to the point. Think also about Instagram. The algorithm only lets you have a video for 60 seconds. It used to be 17 seconds. So basically, the easy Cliff's Notes version is get to the point. You don't say, "Hi guys, today we're going to talk about next," right? Okay, first of all, don't ever say hi guys. Get rid of that. That amount of time is how long it takes somebody to swipe next. So you can search on GPT for what's a good hook for, and then, put in the meat of what you're going to be talking about. But basically the entire point is, what can you say in the shortest time possible? That's the point of what you're going to talk about. Say what you're going to say, then say it. And by the time you say what you're going to say, they're going to know whether or not this is what they want to see. But they might catch your personality and then look at the rest of your content if you get to the point. But if you, "Hi guys, today we're going to talk about how you did." So another thing that I'll do with my editing is speed it up. Let's speed it up. How fast can we go before it sounds like we're So, because some people kind of, are conversational, and maybe that works good in the South, but we just have this much time, right? So if we're on a call together, we want to match and mirror each other's tone and tempo. That's great. But when we're on a video, we got to get that message out as quick as possible before somebody swipes. That's basically the Cliff's Notes version.
That makes perfect sense. And second off, the tempo and everything like that, I don't think is going to be a slow one for us today. It's not much of a worry, especially from the conversations we've had. Something that I find interesting is you mentioned like looking at other platforms like TikTok, like Instagram, and getting some of those ideas from those areas. Do some of those things translate, and then like is it just adapting it to your own message then?
Exactly. So basically, LinkedIn is a no man's land for content. So what that means is if you just post one piece of content, you're doing better than 99% of everybody. 2 years ago, LinkedIn had a contest, gave away $1 million to just like, pretty please, will you guys please come and create some content. So they gave that away to a couple hundred people. So what that means is if you want to know how to write a message, go over to Twitter. What is everybody talking about there? If you want to know what to do with video, go to TikTok. If you want to know what to do with images, go to Instagram. Bring that over to LinkedIn, and now you've got a machine gun at a knife fight, basically, with your competitors, which, by the way, there aren't any, as long as you're being yourself. So... yeah.
I love that. So with that, to adapt that, do you ever suggest any AI tools? I know you said like ChatGPT a few seconds ago. Is that a case of, I mean, we use it extensively when we're coaching podcast hosts, when we're coming up, the questions that I came up with today, I had assistance, we will call it, from AI in that. Is it a combination of those two to help you get that hook and kind of get that feedback from it then?
Yeah, if you're not sure what your message is, just have a conversation with ChatGPT is my preference, simply because that's what came out first. That was big, and I stuck with it. Choose your technology tool and stick with it. Try not to do sparkly ball syndrome, jumping from here to there to here to there. You're not going to make any progress that way. But for me, it's ChatGPT, and you might find a specific tool that has AI incorporated it that gets you to the point that you need to get to quicker. But yeah, I'll even, I was talking to my mom and she was having an issue and I go, let's ask GPT. And we had like a mini counseling session. So yes, help me create a hook on LinkedIn and then paste your scenario. And then if what the output is not correct, then you just say update, more like this, or this is really what I'm talking about, that sort of thing.
So, I mean, it's conversational. It's interesting you said with ChatGPT, because Gemini 2 just released a tool that is conversational. I will be driving down the freeway. Everyone thinks I'm talking on the phone. I am talking with Gemini. Most of my family members look at me like, you're talking to a robot. I'm like, yes, but it's giving me great ideas. So I get that. Speaking of looking a little bit crazy, a lot of people are afraid of looking crazy, and that is what intimidates them out of creating some video content. I ask this of a lot of people. There's no fancy equipment. There's no skills. What would you tell someone to start doing video content?
Well, this is what I have told people to do, and what I've done myself when I felt nervous in the very, very beginning is put a Post-it note and just write grandma or whoever, Captain Crunch. Who gives you the warm and fuzzies, right? And then put it right next to the camera, and then you're talking to Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch, I feel like da 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 da. You're connecting with Captain Crunch. That connection with whoever it is that makes you feel warm and fuzzy translates to the camera, and now you're connecting to so many people. It's getting out of your head thinking, oh, I'm talking to a million people. That is freaky. But we're all on Zoom now. So past 2020, people are getting more comfortable at looking at a camera and thinking it's one person. Just, the opposite of that is don't think of how many potential people. And guess what? That many people aren't seeing you. On a good day, your very best piece of content, only 10% of your followers are going to see that piece of content. So share it, reshare it, put it on rotation.
Interesting. That 10% number is an interesting number, because as I think about it, it does make sense from everything that we see that we do for our clients, et cetera, et cetera. That 10% does make sense. It's funny you mentioned the Captain Crunch thing, and I may have to use that, because one of the things that I have found, I work with so many people that are great public speakers. As soon as they stare at that blank eyeball of a camera, they're like, uh-oh. And it's because there's no feedback. I can tell a bad joke to the camera and I'm like, did it land? Did they hate it? I have no idea until I get the hate mail in the comments section. They're like, just stop. I love the Captain Crunch thing. Kind of going to how people create the content. You talk about there's a balance. We talk like in the podcasting world about batch creating content. You talk some about batching some, but also blending in some like real time in the moment content. Where do you strike that balance? What's something that makes you say, hey, look, I need to go talk about this? What should people look for that's something that they should do real time for content?
Well, you want to have something in the can so that if you want to go on an impromptu to Paris, you can, right? So just think, how long do I want to have how much content, and what am I committing to? Am I committing to one piece of content a week? Am I committing to 3? Am I committing to daily? Daily would be the goal on LinkedIn. 3 would be the minimum I would recommend if you're trying to generate leads and clients from content. 1 a week if you're ramping up, and currently right now, we're rolling into ramping up our content, but I post now just only when I have a tip. So what you could do is take, if you get inspired and you have a tip, you just got off a call with a client, that's something that's relevant to all of your potential clients. So you can sit down, record that, and then put that into the queue. There's an election, something happens, this is newsworthy, right? You can't batch things like that. And that's where you can be relevant in the moment while also being consistent, and then also feeling secure that you have a backup if, you have to go to Paris and shop or something.
Going to Paris and shopping isn't as much of a worry for me, but I understand this.
Italy and some wine, whatever it is.
What's interesting with that is you mentioned like getting off of a Zoom call, like with a client, it's something that's relevant. So are you like telling people like, I mean, is this something where just be ready to hit record at some time? Like if you've got an idea, just go into it. Is that a thought, or what are your thoughts with that?
Well, I take that a step further. I have Grain, GRAIN.ai, I believe it is, that I'm using, and there's other call recorder systems that automatically join on your call. And so I have a prompt that says, what was insightful, or what did Elisa share today that could potentially be posted as content. So now I've got some bullet point ideas. I also will say, what did, X customer or X person that was on the phone say today that would be good for my FAQs or would be good to explain in some content. So now I've got a live, instantly improving content strategy. Yeah.
That's so once again, that's another way to work an AI tool in to be like, look, just got off the call. Here's something that would be great to talk about that probably other clients would like to hear. And now you've got content for whether it be today, tomorrow, or next Thursday. You've got something that you can post just off of that call and that conversation.
Yeah, and you don't have to add another AI tool. Just make sure you're recording. Put it in the can, Later you can go back and data mine it when you're ready to go content.
I love that. So, I mean, really, like a huge part of this is taking that struggle out of what am I going to talk about this week? Your clients will tell you.
Exactly. And please, can you please listen to what your clients are saying and incorporate that into your business. We're always looking at, where we see our clients can be. Oh my gosh, you could blah, 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 $1 million scale, yada, yada. But they're right here. If you listen to what they're saying, and even better yet, repurpose those words back into your content, it's going to attract more people like those people to you. And it also forces you to focus on where they are, talking in their words, saying what they've said. And then as you do start to data mine that, look and see, 29 people asked for appointment setting. They're not following up with their leads properly. Maybe I should focus on that and see how that does, and do a test and see how that works, adding that to the business model.
Wow. That's awesome. It's funny because it really shows that how just one small piece of content can breed so many other things, or just one conversation like what we're having can just create so many other things. It's kind of one of the things that I like about what I do is it can lead to an email, it can lead to a blog, it can lead to so many other things that once again add value for people. I don't just want to spam the bejabbers out of them. That's the last thing that I want to do. I'd like to give them something of value. But there's so many pieces of value that can come out of that. That's amazing. You've mentioned, and I know this is kind of a thing with LinkedIn, it's where business happens is kind of the big thing with that. Is LinkedIn business to business? Is it business to client or consumer? What is the gearing of LinkedIn? Who are people going to find there as they start to engage more on LinkedIn? I guess it would be the better question to ask.
Well, first of all, I think of it as the world's best networking party. So you can think of it that way. If I was going to a meetup and wanted to, meet people that are into jogging, you can look for groups for people that like jogging. I don't necessarily recommend engaging in a group on LinkedIn at the moment. On Facebook is where groups engagement works really well, but you can target groups and then you can bring them out of there and message those people. That gives you an indication of what their interest level are. But as far as B2B and B2C and LMNOP, if you look at Sales Navigator, the searching functions are by business type. So what you could do is you could ask GPT, hey, GPT, I'm looking for X type of customer using Sales Navigator, cut and paste all the search parameters. What do you recommend that I search for to find this kind of person? Or if you're not going to use Sales Navigator, which means you don't want to reach a lot of people, and you don't want to enhance targeting options, and sometimes that's the case. So you just go into the search bar on a main LinkedIn page, and you'll just search for something, and then there's going to be the option to expand filters. So it's going to be many options of what's available. And if you're doing business to consumer, like you're a hairdresser or something, you might just want to know everyone in your area that has money. So that could be like a doctor or a nurse or a yada, yada, yada. Then you could create a Sales Navigator campaign that reaches out with those enhanced search options, because you might not be able to do it on a mini search, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. Wow. Okay. That right there is, I mean, golden. I love that. With that being said, when it comes to creating content and doing stuff on LinkedIn, what do you see as some of the biggest challenges for people getting that visibility with it?
Well, okay, so visibility, that I was going to say the biggest challenge is I'm just so sick of the people that are posting the same thing over and over again, and they show up in my personal feed. So whatever irritates you, or you love the puppy and the kitty videos, whatever is interesting to you is going to be interesting to the people you attract. But can you ask your question again? Because I lost it. I had the other.
I mean, what do you see as some of like the biggest challenges in terms of getting out to the people that you want to see on LinkedIn or want to see your stuff?
Okay, I got it back. Okay, so engagement. Okay, so it's not posting content at all. So the way that it works is people approach social media in two ways. They start in the DMs or they start with content. My recommendation is to start in the DMs, grow your network of the ideal client, then you layer on content as a strategy to get back in front of those leads. But what most people miss because it's labor intensive is engagement. If you could really start with engagement as your number one thing, what engagement means is getting on your ideal client's content, leaving a thoughtful comment that never ever pitches you. Oh, hi, I'm Elisa and I sell LinkedIn, la, la, la. No, okay. No. So what you're doing is you're showing your personality. So you're supporting that post. If you have something thoughtful and kind to say in support of that post or your opinion to that post, as long as you're not going against that person, going against them is actually a good thing when it happens to you because it can make your post go viral. So never get upset when you get hate. If someone doesn't tell you where you can go by noon, your marketing is off, in my opinion. Okay? Because when you speak to your ideal client, you repel the others, right? But if you could engage on 50 people's ideal client, 50 ideal clients' content, or where they show up. So for instance, you sell sales and marketing things. Go on Gary Vaynerchuk's post and share a thoughtful 5 or more word comment supporting that post. If you could do that 50 times a day, Monday through Friday, what that equates to is 100 followers in a year. It's golden. It's golden.
Interesting.
Yeah, when you can layer that on with some content and then reaching out in the DMs to your ideal clients, you don't have to pitch them in the DMs, but what you want to do is strategically grow your audience with your ideal clients. So then when you do show up with content, it's served to your ideal clients, not a bunch of people in Wackamoo, wherever. right?
It's not that person from some foreign country that is approaching you about insurance,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Bitcoin.
When the wrong people are engaging on your content, that means you're not connected to the right people, or your message is not resonating with them. So build your audience with those right people, and then they can see your content. And then when you're listening to your clients on your sales calls and creating that content they already said that they want, rinse and repeat. 50 engagements a day, and you'll be like the number one person on LinkedIn in your niche in no time, in 6
Love
to
it.
12 months.
Love that. It's interesting too, because one of the things that I talk about with some people is when it comes to social media, people get all these warm and fuzzy feelings like, hey, social media is there to engage, to build community. I'm like, no, it's there to make money. And if you make someone else's phone ding and someone get on there for 2 or 3 minutes and doom scroll, then you have done a great service for LinkedIn, for Facebook, for whatever platform you're on. And they're going to be like, oh, yes, we will reward them accordingly because they dinged someone else's phone and gave them a reason to go on and doom scroll.
Exactly.
It makes sense. This is going to lead me to a question that has gotten my interest as I've talked with you before and as we've looked at stuff, and I did some digging around. What really sparked your interest for LinkedIn? I mean, there's so many people that are like, oh, I love Instagram or I love Facebook. You're like, I am all in on LinkedIn. Why?
Sales and marketing is my background. I won a candy bar contest in the 5th grade. I 2x the numbers of everybody else and thought that was cool in the 5th grade. I mean, how nerdy is that? Okay, so clearly I was branded with salesperson from the get-go. Out of college, I worked with IBM, was my first job. And the way that it works at IBM is you're expected to have them have them in your organization, or you're not doing your job. So basically what that means is there's no such thing as lead gen. You're just showing up. You have a desk at your client's place. I worked with, you're familiar with Paul Mitchell Hair Care?
Yep.
Paul DeJoria is the co-owner of Paul Mitchell Systems. Angus Mitchell is the other co-owner. I launched his Beverly Hills Salon brand in 2009, 2010, when Groupon was just beginning. I launched a Groupon, and in 12 hours, we sold out of 400 seats. And in the morning, people were at the door, trying to get in, that open commercial they used to have. So of course, I knew the possibility of online marketing, but, that really got me the taste. And then when Angus transitioned to having a car museum instead of a business, which business development's my passion, I got the freedom move to launch my agency. We started with email. I did SEO. We did Facebook ads. And for me personally, I'm the salesperson. I've had salespeople from time to time, but I'm the one that's getting on the calls. So I understand that when I do an email campaign, it's going to be the 3rd or 4th call before somebody says, who stops saying, who is this? What's this about? On a LinkedIn conversation, because of the way we can position and brand you on LinkedIn, as soon as someone gets on the call, they're already connected to you. So we save 3 to 4 calls in that scenario. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. And people aren't yelling at you and all. I've done inside sales as well. It would be vulgar for me to share the worst interaction that I had on our call. But yeah, so it makes your life better. It makes it easier. We can set it up in a way that's practically on autopilot. So basically, appointments are just showing up on your calendar. So who doesn't want that? Business owner, sales, even for your sales team. I mean, everything. It's just, it is the very best, highest quality call that you can get. So Facebook ads are wonderful. But the show rate can be like horrible. I've got a client, we're setting up a campaign for them right now. And we've been trying to do the call recording strategy, record the calls and see what your clients care about. No one's showed up in 2 weeks to a call. They're fully booked and nobody's showing up. These are Facebook ads. So I don't know. You tell me, what would you pick if you wanted to pay for it? Yeah,
I don't.
no, thank you on the Facebook ads.
Yeah, no, I love spending time in the studio. I don't just want to spend time in the studio staring at myself on a screen, waiting for someone to show up that probably isn't going to show up. Just doesn't sound like a good time.
In my opinion, sales is like 90% mindset, and that puts you in a horrible mindset. Nobody likes me. So then, when you when you finally do get on a call, you're so out of it.
You're so ready to put a hole in the wall that's shaped very similar to yourself.
Yeah.
I understand that. What are your goals for the future of your business? I mean, you've got this agency, you've evolved it, you've changed it. What's something you see for the future?
Well, I'm simply obsessed with technology. I always have been. I've always been excited about online marketing versus, how many times did it take people to walk across our storefront before they show up? And now it's AI for me. I'm using it all the time, every day for everything. And I am looking to put all of those strategies together in a way so that the do-it-yourself version, the 90% off version of our program, that clients, and it's incorporated in our freebie already. So the prompts are in there to make it easier for them, where before I used to try and teach people my strategy of using a word cloud and the words of importance, and you're manually choosing. I've got a 2-hour video trying to teach this to the people, and they're like, "Whoa, look at my word cloud," but they never knew. They were never quite getting it. I just created a prompt. I'm like, stick your stuff in there and press this button, send right here, and it goes whoop. So yeah.
I love that because, yes, I have experienced some of the same frustrations. I mean, when we work with people on the podcast stuff, it's the same thing on how to ask good questions, how to get the right information, because there is nothing more lame than when I see a podcast host show up and they ask their guests, "So what do you do?" Oh my gosh. Right. With all the tools there are out there, do something, do some research, let the computer do the research for you. It's more than willing. The big question that that I like to ask for something that's actionable for someone, what's one small piece of advice that you can give someone who wants to just elevate their LinkedIn profile a little bit?
One piece of advice would be, please go get my freebie. Literally, I swear to you, I've got all the best juice in there, and it does have that one little prompt, which is for you to go find what your ideal client is saying. So what you want to do is and this is going to help you with messaging everywhere. So the application of the freebie is to your LinkedIn page, which is get a profile picture that points towards your content, because that's where the attention goes. That's right. If I'm facing this way, when you land on my LinkedIn page and my banner says, "Would you like to have free money over here?" you might miss it. Right? Sure. So you point the profile picture and make sure it's clear, because if it looks like we can't afford to have a photo shoot, then that's saying that we don't have a successful business. Okay. All right. So within my freebie, the point being, if you go and collect in your testimonials, and what you want to do is have them be consistent. Is it for when you baked cakes, or is it for this other service that we're talking about? So for you, podcasting topics, when somebody gave you a testimonial for podcasting topics, take that whole testimonial and you're data mining it for points of what they said was helpful that you do. You can manually organize that, or you can go into my freebie and you can get the actual prompt, dump it in there, and then you've got a cheat sheet of what's important to your clients. If you can focus on that, just even on your sales calls even, right? This is what people have said that's important to them before, things that they might ask me about, and then incorporate that in your content everywhere you are online, but definitely on LinkedIn, if you can have it in your headline, which is below your profile picture, how you help people, that's going to follow you around the most. I do a little cheat where in the pronoun section, there's a custom pronoun. Guess what ours is? Leads you love, right? So your custom pronoun could be based on some of those things that clients have said about you. Because again, that's following you around on LinkedIn. Then in your banner in the background, you can form how you help people that you found in that list in the form of a question. Purpose of question is your brain forces you to answer it. So now we're getting more attention on your copy by facing it. And then if we can put a question in the form of a question, if I could help you, yada, yada, would you be interested, or something to that effect, the brain makes you stop, answer that question, and then go on. So now we got a little extra time on your profile. So your ideal client, just a little cheat hack there. But
wow,
that's always in the freebie. So
that's more than a little cheat hack. That is
freebie. So that's
I was about to say, that is making me realize that I have some work to do. I am pretty sure that most everyone in the audience does also on our LinkedIn profiles. I will make sure that we obviously put the link to your information in the show notes on YouTube, all the places, stuff like that. I really appreciate your time today. This has been, first off, a lot of fun. Second off, highly educational. I think we're going to need to talk again soon in a few months to see if I can get results with this. I know I can. It's just making sure that I have the time to do it. And I am really looking forward to it. Once again, thank you so much. So for everyone out there, like I said, this has been huge. I've got a ton of work to do. I'm pretty sure you do also. With this, it's also, it points to how you can build some of the content and link that with everything else so you have this holistic approach to your LinkedIn profile, which to me is a big key. As always, do me a favor, do all the things, the comments, the likes, the shares. Please rate us on your podcast platform if you're willing to. As always, take care of yourself, and if you can, take care of someone else. I will see you very soon.